Thank you, Mr. President. The Cairo Institute of Human Rights Studies and the Euro-Mediterranean Human Rights Network welcome this urgent debate on Syria. Indeed, the situation on the ground in Syria has reached new lows, with regular news of massacres and serious human rights violations perpetrated both by the Syrian government and by certain elements of the opposition reaching us. As the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights, Navi Pillay, stated in her update to this Council, the situation in Syria has become an intolerable affront to the human conscience. While horrifying accounts and reports of the May, Bayada and Banias massacres, where allegedly pro-government militias killed hundreds of civilians, are still being released, we are concerned by the growing evidences about war crimes being committed by the Syrian army, Hezbollah militants, as well as by some factions such as Jabhat al-Nusra, with civilians paying the price for sniper activities, indiscriminate shelling, and lack of access to food, water, and medical aid. Cairo Institute and Euro-Mediterranean Network are also concerned by the growing sectarian nature of the conflict in Syria that is currently being fueled by the government and by extremist armed groups opposed to the Syrian government. This worsening situation requires the attention of the Human Rights Council, as sectarian divides will seriously impair the building of democratic Syria governed by rules of law. We remain unconcerned about the regional impact of the crisis in Syria, while the outpour of refugees is putting a strain on neighboring countries. Clashes between pro- and anti-Syrian government factions have claimed the lives of at least 30 people over the last 7 days of continued fighting in the Lebanese northern town of Tripoli. How many special sessions and urgent debates do we need to satisfy the mandate of this Council to fully realize the protection and promotion of human rights? We call on this Council to make no mistake this time and call the Security Council to request the ICC to start investigations into war crimes and crimes against humanity in Syria. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end of our list of speakers. I have been approached by the sponsor of the draft resolution L.1 entitled "The Deteriorating Situation of Human Rights in the Syrian Arab Republic and the Recent Killings in Al-Qusayr," who have suggested that in order to provide more time to delegations to consult their capitals, action of the draft resolution L.1 could be slightly postponed. It is my intention to grant this request to enable for the constructive process. Action on the draft resolution will thus be postponed to take place at 5:30 p.m. this afternoon. 5:30 this afternoon. In the meanwhile, we shall reconvene in a few minutes to resume the interactive dialogue with the independent expert on foreign debt and the special rapporteur on the independence of judges and lawyers. I hereby declare closed the 7th meeting of the 26th session of the Human Rights Council.